Hello, welcome to Ascension Arcana Tarot. This is Christine with a general collective reading for the energies of Mercury moving into Libra, which is happening on September 26th. All of my readings are timeless readings, which means whenever they show up for you, there's a message for you there. But this one, or I guess when I'm pulling on celestial events in general, they do sort of tend to be related to the energy of what's going on. So this has like a bit of a specific time frame, but if it's coming up for you, then there's probably a message here for you. So let's see what we've got. I have a feeling, as I was like kind of sitting here getting ready for the reading, I was feeling that Mercury is probably very happy in Libra. Libra is an air sign, so Mercury is the god of communication, right? Of messages, and he was kind of like the messenger god. So I feel like that energy of communication for Mercury would be very happy in an air sign, because air signs are all about communication. And Libra is like a very fair and balanced energy. So it just like feels nice. I like it. So we're starting off with the Ace of Pentacles here. I'm actually really drawn to this little animal. Looks like a weasel or something. That's interesting. He feels like he could be a little messenger. He's like kind of quick. I just have this like image in my head of the little weasel like darting around across the meadow or like amongst these rocks, right? And like being able to carry messages to the other animals. So that's kind of funny. Like a swift little messenger energy, which is very appropriate. The Ace of Pentacles is an awesome card of new beginnings because it's a very grounded card. So it's kind of taking, let me think of how to explain this. On the journey of the tarot, right, we move through the different suits, and the Pentacles is the fourth suit. It's like the last one. So the person who's kind of taking this journey through the tarot has mastered the lessons already of the wands, the swords, the cups, and now they're on to the pentacles. So they're really finally like able to kind of hone their skills and like manifest those things that they've learned, like bring all of their learning sort of into like a real physical form and actually use all of their knowledge and experience to like manifest like an amazing life on the earth. So I love that energy. We have the Nine of Wands. That's kind of funny. So the Nine of Wands is, he's called the Wounded Warrior. So in the Wand suit, he sort of took this spark of fire, right? This passion and this creativity and this idea that he had, and he's moving through creating that or bringing it to life solely through his willpower. And by the time he gets to the end, he's like successful, but he's exhausted because he's trying to do it with his own energy instead of co-creating it with like the energy of the universe. So it could be that at this point where you've kind of mastered those other lessons of the tarot, you're at the point where you are kind of exhausted. This has been a long journey for you, and maybe it's taken a lot out of you. I can feel that. We have the Empress card. That's beautiful. She feels very like Libra to me, just sort of that, I don't know, I'm just getting like a divine feminine energy right now from that. Libra is often the symbolism of like the woman, justice, like holding the scales, right? But instead of the scales, she's just holding this circle. It feels like an energy that there's not sides. Like with the scales, right? There's one side here and one side here. With the circle, it's like everything is connected. So there's not like one side is better than the other, or one side is more right than the other. It's like everything. What I just heard is like the, what's his name? Like Rafiki from The Lion King, where he's like, it's all connected in the circle of life. Like that's this energy. It's really beautiful. So kind of finding that balance through that connected, the connection energy and like the oneness, rather than trying to find balance in like two opposing things. We have the World. That's so beautiful. Wow. That's another card of kind of coming full circle, like that circle energy, right? So the world is the successful completion of a cycle. I always say that. That's like the first thing that always comes to me. I almost feel like this is funny. Speaking of balance and the Libra card, like she's balancing on one leg. I'm really drawn to that. So it's almost like you're learning balance through doing like this dance with the universe. Because this figure here is dancing, right? She's kind of got like this laurel victory wreath around her. She's sort of dancing on like this victory torch. It almost has like Olympics vibes or something, right? She's reminding me of like the, what's it called? Rhythm gymnastics, where they have like the ribbons or whatever and they do their floor routine. So learning more this sense of balance with the universe, that's very beautiful. There's a very strong divine feminine vibe here. Like that divine feminine energy really just being grounded and like very pure in that energy. That's really lovely. Again, just like that full circle energy, right? It's that ascension spiral that I sometimes talk about, where if you look at it from the top, it looks like you're just going in circles, but actually from the side, you're like kind of spiraling around, but leveling up. So when you get to the same point, you're actually like at that point, but on a higher level of the spiral, right? Yeah, this is an awesome reading. This is cool. So the 10 of Pentacles card is exactly what I was saying around the Ace of Pentacles, right? Being the beginning of starting those manifestations and really grounding the things that you have learned into like earthly success. And the 10 of Pentacles is the culmination of that. It's actually having the success on the earth, right? I love that there's even like sunshines on this chest. That's such like a brilliant, beautiful energy of success. Just joy and freedom and completion and success. It's like really lovely. So being able to create like all of your dreams come true, basically. This feels very much like manifestation energy to me. And someone who's coming into their power around kind of leveling up. Like I really feel with this 9 of Wands that if you're in this collective, you have made it this far completely based on your own like energy, your own resources. That's a better way, that feels more aligned to say it, that it's resources. So you've been like kind of depleting your own inner resources over and over and over again over time. But this row with the Empress in the world feels very much like that divine feminine energy coming together with like the creative forces of the universe, right? So whatever that resonates as for you, for me, it would be God. It could be source. It could be like your higher self, your ancestors, like whatever sort of spiritual beliefs you have. It's your energy coming from like that higher power, that higher source, instead of purely being fueled by your own inner resources, because our own inner resources are limited. They're finite, right? I'm picturing like a bucket where like you kind of deplete your bucket from doing all this work, and then maybe you do something that makes you happy and you fill your bucket, and then it gets depleted again and you fill it again and it depleted. It's like up and down this level of sort of energy in your bucket. Whereas the Empress in the world, just feeling that like that energy of the circle, there's no depleting of the bucket, right? Like because of that circle, your energy is like constantly regenerating because you're using the energy of the divine, like the divine energy in the universe is what's fueling you basically, right? So it's just this infinite circle, like your resources never get depleted because you're tapped into that ability to co-create with the divine. It's really beautiful. So I feel like I see you moving on from this kind of like wounded warrior energy, this like exhausted energy, really into like a huge, powerful level up. That's like a very cool energy. I feel like I love these cards. They're always so chatty for me. The 10 of Swords. Oh, I love that. I love this deck. It's so cool. that feel so the two tens, like tens are the end. I think those are the only tens that we have. The ace is the beginning and the 10 is the end of every suit. And the world is actually the end of the major arcana cards. So it's interesting that we have two tens here. I feel like the 10 of Pentacles is you reaching like that ultimate earthly success, whatever that looks like for you. It could be the family, it could be the money, it could be fame, it could be the success that you want in your career. It could be that like helping people, right? Like maybe you form a charity and your charity's like ridiculously successful. And that feeling of being able to sit back and look at what you create and be like, I made it. Like I did that. I kind of reached that level that I wanted to reach. The 10 of Swords is feeling very much to me like the ending of, I don't know how to say these words. Hang on, I need to feel this energy. It's like, I don't know how to explain this. It feels very like on a soul level, it feels like there's a part of like ego that's gonna die completely because you are so in your power here. Like there's something about this glow up energy that completely destroys this like ego piece of you. I'm really feeling those swords as ego, like that ego chatter, those doubtful thoughts and things. It's like you are so powerful and you are so successful, and your power like manifests in such a physical way that there's literally there's like no doubt that you did that. There's no room within your soul or within like your consciousness, I guess. There's no room within your consciousness to even doubt that anymore. Like your manifestation, your energy is so big and so powerful that I just see this this like ego energy almost like disappear in a puff of smoke. It's like ego tries to attack us where we feel vulnerable. And there's just nowhere for ego to even get a foothold anymore because you are so in your power and your manifestation is so like visceral and real and in your face. So this would be, for example, if you have a dream of being a millionaire and you do the pentacles work, right? You work hard, you're determined, you're budgeting, you're like making connections with people, you're following your life purpose. Bam, you manifest the 10 of Pentacles, and now you have like millions of dollars in your bank account. It's like, it's a literal manifested fact that that money's in there, right? You can check your bank account or your investment accounts or whatever and see your money. So as long as it has a certain number of like commas in the number, yeah, you achieved your goal, right? So it's like, it feels to me like a very tangible goal that you just reach, and there's like no room anywhere for you to doubt yourself anymore. All that I'm drawn to on this card is the glow on the swords. That's it. It's like a total, it feels like an angelic energy to me. It's like the universe is helping you prove to your own self how powerful you are. And it doesn't, like ego has no foothold to even grab onto. It feels awesome. That's really cool. I'm not exactly sure what that has to do with Mercury. It's like a very clear message, but I don't see that it has much to do with communication. So let's keep going. I do actually, as I was just saying that, I'm feeling like the most powerful communication that's happening right now is the communication between you and your like higher power, right? So again, whether that's God, your highest self, if you just see it as like source or the universe, right? Just kind of tapping into that as your source, as the thing that's like putting the juice in your batteries, basically. It makes you unstoppable because it's that constant regeneration of your energy through like that circular feeling that we have here with the Empress in the world. That's really cool. I love the message of the 10 of Swords here. That's like a really neat I don't know. I enjoyed channeling that. Thank you for that, God. That was really cool. I still don't know that I found exactly the perfect words for it, but I did my best. So hopefully you guys at least get the gist of what I'm expressing there. I just feel like it's whatever this is proved to you in such a tangible way that you literally have no choice but to say, well, I was successful at that. Like, I wanted to manifest that and it happened. And now I guess I just have to believe in how awesome I am. That's like totally the message I'm getting. I've gotten the 8 of Swords quite a bit lately. That's very interesting. I feel like, sorry, the universe knows how I read this. I didn't say it out loud. I always say it to myself in my head though. This side, I always am asking, like, what do you guys need to know? So it often will tell me, like, the situation or the problem is on this side. And on this side is always, like, the advice or the solution. The 8 of Swords is definitely not a solution. That is advice. I feel like it's referring back to these swords. So it may be the case if you are in this collective that you're having some ego doubts, some anxiety, some feeling of being trapped that feels very real to you. But in truth, you're not trapped at all. And all you have to do is stand up and walk away from those swords, right? So the swords for me often represent like ego chatter. So I guess this would be an energy of someone maybe whose internal dialogue is potentially somewhat interfering with those manifestations. So that would be like an energy of like, oh, that happened to so-and-so. They got the perfect job, but that's just because they're lucky, or it's because they're young, or they have a degree in whatever. Kind of taking your own power away, I guess. And this voice isn't really who you truly are. It definitely feels like ego, kind of trying to, like I said before, kind of scrambling to like get a foothold, right? So if there's anywhere within you that you are kind of hearing those like doubtful thoughts, just knowing that it's ego and setting boundaries there, being able to say like, that's ego and I'm not going to listen to that, right? Because the energy that I'm getting for you with the Empress in the world is so beautiful. So to link this back to communication, I feel like on this side, right, I would just mentioned communicating with the divine. And I feel like I should expand on that actually. What I mean by that is to actually tell, for me, I would say God, right? So I would say, God, I choose to partner with you. Like I choose to create my heaven on earth with you. And I choose for your energy to flow through me so that I can co-create with you, like using your divine energy. That's how I would say that if I were in this energy. I feel like this one is communicating with yourself. Just being really clear on, like I said, setting boundaries with those ego thoughts and like literally almost saying, man, you could say it in your head or say it out loud, but actually saying to yourself, that thought feels bad. That feels like an ego thought. That feels like a limiting thought. I choose to let that go. And I choose to believe, and then kind of fill in the blank. Like I choose to believe that I can work to make my dreams come true. I choose to believe that anything is possible. Kind of actively and consciously replacing any of those types of thoughts with like a more aligned, more powerful, more positive thought. We have the Hangman and the Hermit. Yes, this is a big energy, you guys. There's 2 10s, an ace, and then 4 major arcana cards. Like, this is a big deal. I feel like if you're in this collective, you will know it because you'll have some big things going on for you. So the Hangman and the Hermit, that's funny. I just noticed that the sun on the Hangman card is identical to the sun here on the chest in the 10 of Pentacles. The Hangman and the Hermit combined, this energy feels so much to me like that, what I always say, being like put into a timeout by the universe. So the Hermit is kind of in a timeout, I guess, of sorts, but by choice, right? So he has sort of like withdrawn from society and is really in a period of time where he's going deep within and doing some contemplating, doing some healing, getting really clear, I feel, on like who he is, what he wants, what are his values. And the Hangman is a little bit similar, but he kind of got thrown into the timeout by the universe. So the Hermit did it by choice. The Hangman, the universe was like, nope, you need to take a break here. But the energy of him is that being flipped over like this allows him to see things from a different perspective. So I really feel that, like, a lot of introspection here in these energies, kind of like a detachment from what the people around you think or care about. So you may be a person who's been sensitive in the past to like other people's judgments, or maybe even like the expression like keeping up with the Joneses or whatever. Like you might have been conscious of how people perceive like you or your family or your job or anything like that. If you're in this collective, I feel like you're definitely overcoming that energy and really just completely releasing what you look like to anybody, and really just getting real and in touch with yourself. That's very much an energy here of like the Empress in the world too. Like they are so divine and so empowered. They couldn't care less like what anybody else thinks or like people pleasing or anything like that. They're just minding their business and acting from like the complete power of their soul being in connection with that like source or universal energy, right? It's really beautiful. So I feel like that's just the process. It's like surrender to it. It's going to happen to you whether the universe sort of puts you in that position or like the Hangman, or if you kind of choose to go into that position like the Hermit. So I kind of feel like it's irrelevant either way, whether you choose to embrace this or not. But it feels like if you surrender to it, it's like all the more powerful. It's really beautiful. What other advice do you have for this collective for Mercury moving into Libra? I very much like so far on this side, like I said, on this side, I felt that energy of communicating with God. All of these cards here feel to me like communicating with your own self. And there's a lot of power to that. The cards are interesting. They're not flipping out. They're flipping over in the deck today, which they don't always do. The Queen of Cups, that's beautiful. She's lovely. So that's the water sign queen. Yeah, I feel like her, like all that I'm getting from her is just getting in touch with your own emotions. So in my spiritual work, we talk a lot about our emotions as being kind of like our compass, right? Or like our guide. And that's what I'm feeling from her. Like she's a very intuitive and emotionally intelligent woman. She's like very aware of her feelings. Again, kind of this energy of like releasing what anyone else around you is thinking, feeling, saying. Like it feels like an energy of releasing codependency and being able to just say, wow, that person feels this, or wow, I'm getting that energy from that person. But kind of having a strong energetic boundary between what is your stuff and what is you and what is like somebody else and their stuff. So I'm really feeling that, just getting a real strong sense of like who you are and what is yours and who somebody else is and like what is theirs. And by somebody else, I think I just mean everybody else who's like not you, right? We have the Six of Cups. A sweet, 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 sweetness. It feels like, it feels dreamy. You know what that card feels like is happily ever after. I'm really feeling that with the Ten of Pentacles. And I keep looking at the Empress and seeing her as like a princess. She's like this beautiful princess energy. That's cool. It feels like happily ever after. Like this really innocent, this really innocent, dreamy, happily ever after energy. So if you're in this collective, I feel like this card could be getting back in touch with like your childhood dreams. Like you might be a person who, for example, with a career, right? Maybe you went into a certain career because your family had certain expectations of you, or you felt like you should do this certain thing in order to like support your family someday. But maybe you always wanted to be like an artist, or like maybe you always wanted to refinish cars or something like that, right? And it isn't necessarily like lucrative, but that's like where your soul's passion lies. And it feels like getting back in touch with that and like recognizing that that's sort of what like fires you up. In my spiritual work, we call that your life purpose. And I feel like by living that life purpose is somehow what gets you to the 10 of Pentacles. So maybe you think that being an artist wouldn't be very lucrative, but you just hit on this idea that somehow makes you like a ton of money, and maybe that makes your dreams come true, right? And I'm just giving one example. If you're in this collective, it absolutely doesn't have to play out that way, but I'm giving you an example to try to help you have an idea of like what this energy feels like to me. This has such a happily ever after energy. It's very sweet. And I feel like the Queen of Cups too, like she's even looking towards them and she's kind of holding her cup out towards them. So really feeling your feelings, like deep in your heart, deep in your soul around what are the things that make you feel that love, that passion, that creativity. Like what were you put here on this earth to do? I feel like that's part of what this is it's related to that feeling, like I said, of like letting go of keeping up with the Joneses or kind of keeping up appearances. Like you might look kind of ridiculous while you're going through this. And I really feel that like your neighbors might kind of raise their eyebrows and be like, what's up with so-and-so? But I honestly don't feel like you care. At the end of the day, your neighbors are going to see you so joyful. They'll probably be like, wow, what's that person doing? Like, I want to get in on that. Right. And they're going to start coming over and asking you like, what's your secret? I don't, yeah, that's like a really cool energy. This is beautiful, you guys. So I definitely feel like this is a lot about communication. And again, that sort of balancing energy of Libra. Like I said, I'm really feeling that as moving from like two opposing sides of a scale to that infinite circle, right? It's not about sides. It's not about I have this and they have this, or like I was giving that example of like the bucket being full and kind of having to balance your inner resources. It's about tapping into God, right? Tapping into the source of the universe and really just letting that infinitely flow through you around and around and around, and how powerful that will be for you. This is really cool. I don't know that I found like the perfect words to describe this, so I hope that you guys are getting my gist. This Hangman and Hermit energy keeps really sticking out to me. This is a huge energy of soul searching for anyone that's in this collective. Excuse me, I'm getting stuffy. I have the Angel Answers Oracle and the Abundance card is at the bottom. I actually feel like this is interesting. So I'm going to have you guys think of a question. If you would like to play along, we'll play a little game. Think of a question while I'm shuffling that you would like an answer to. We'll maybe do this a couple of times. So, all right. Pause the video if you don't have your first question. I'm about to put the card down. The answer to the first question is within the next few months. So, timing with tarot cards is interesting because everything is dependent upon free will. So you could hear this reading and say, wow, that was a nice reading, and not change anything, right? In which case, maybe none of this will manifest for you. You could be in this collective, but make some different decision that kind of makes the energy go a different way, right? Like I'm reading for multiple people here, so it's kind of just the general energy of this transit of Mercury into Libra, right? But I'm feeling that, like, this is not that far off. I genuinely feel like all that you have to do to set this in motion is to just tell God, source, the universe, your higher self, again, whatever resonates for you in terms of like a higher power spiritually, and just say to it, like, I choose to let you flow through me. I choose to tap into your energy and co-create all of my dreams come true with you. And I almost see it opening kind of like a gate through which all of this amazing energy can flow. It feels really powerful. All right, let's do one more. So if you have a second question, think of your second question while I'm shuffling. Let's see if another answer wants to come out. Do you have any more answers for this collective here for their second question? All right, I'm going to put down the second answer here. It says trust. I love that. That feels just like that energy of surrendering to the universe and having faith. Like, it could be that if you're in this collective and you're getting that message, that trust is difficult for you. I feel a lot of surrender energy in this Empress in the world, because the Nine of Wands, because he's still operating from his own like internal resources, there's a big feeling of control there. Where he kind of feels like he's powering through it and he's kind of in control of how things are going. But this Empress and World card are very surrendered to like God or source energy, right? So it's like that feeling, almost like the Fool card, where you're kind of taking a leap of faith, right? Like, you're ready to have this glow up and you're ready to kind of plug into the universe, right? And you kind of just do it and have faith and trust that it'll all work out. I do feel like it's important for you to know, if you're in this collective, some of this stuff is going to take time. So if you're presently in a momentum of Nine of Wands, sorry, not Nine of Swords. Nine of Wands is almost like pushing a rock uphill, right? Excuse me. So you're in this momentum of like pushing a rock uphill. And it's like you have to release that momentum and then start your momentum in like a whole new direction, right? Of like, maybe all of a sudden you just like are surrendering and letting yourself float upwards. It's like a change. It almost feels like a change in physical momentum, but it's like on a spiritual level, right? But it might take you some time. Like when you're driving your car and you're driving, let's say you're driving in reverse, right? If you want to change directions, you have to step on the brake, give your car a little bit of time to actually stop. Then you put it in drive and then you start driving, and you need the momentum to get the car going like in the opposite direction, right? So it might just take you a little bit of time to just completely change that momentum, again, from doing these things from your own internal resources versus like hooking into the universe. Because I feel like that's a relationship, right? That's a relationship that you are building, kind of co-creating with the universe. And at this point, if you're in this collective, you don't really have that relationship, because you're kind of in this feeling like you have to do it all yourself. So definitely trusting that even if you don't see the results right away, that they're coming, and that it's safe to be patient, and it's safe to believe that it's working. I think that's the part of it, like believing that it's working without having the physical evidence of it yet, because it's very obvious in this reading that the physical evidence will come. Sorry, I keep clearing my throat. This is my second reading. I did my the romance reading a little earlier, so I've just been talking a lot. Do you have any messages for this collective? First energy of Mercury moving into Venus. So yeah, this side is that energy, like I keep saying, of building that relationship with the divine, right? Communicating with the divine. And this side is very much that relationship with yourself. So actually verbalizing, whether it's out loud or just in your head, verbalizing those boundaries, kind of taking the power away from those ego thoughts, like diffusing them, by just seeing them for what they are, right? Hello, ego thought. I recognize you. I know that you're not true. It takes its power away, right? And then going into this deep place where you're really, I mean, the Hermit and the Hangman, I feel like there's still words to say there that I'm just not coming up with. It's such an energy of like being thrown into hermit mode, but like hermit mode times 2 because it's both of them. That's kind of what it feels like, is like a double hermit. Maybe that's the best way to say it. Just that complete like introspection, going within yourself. It's like nothing else matters any more than your inner world becomes the most important thing. It becomes the most important thing. And you communicating with yourself and building that relationship with yourself. There we go. Ha, that's awesome. So as I was just saying that, our card came out, 0000, limitless potential. Rest, relaxation, unknown, surrender, finish line, success, victory. It serves as a timely reminder that anything can be accomplished. If you can dream it, there is no reason you can't make it a reality. If something is in the possession of another person, it is also available to you. So try to remain calm. What's meant for you won't pass you by. Let go of tension, relax. That is like the perfect summary of this reading. I love that. I feel like it refers back to what I was saying about this 9 of Wands card, feeling like very controlled versus this energy that you're moving into feeling very surrendered. Control is such an illusion. It's like a joke. Like none of us are genuinely in control of anything other than some aspects of like our inner reality, right? How we choose to handle things or the way we choose to behave. But these guys are so surrendered and it feels much more peaceful. And it feels like this control is actually an energy drain, like an energy sink kind of, just trying to constantly like keep up with that illusion of being in control. It's way easier to just surrender, and then you can do more productive things with that energy. This is what I was saying. Anything can be accomplished. Like it is, that word is perfect, limitless. Like there's nothing that you can't do here. That's what this feels like. Once you start partnering with the divine and kind of opening your mind to what's possible, because you're coming from this place where you're so intimately in touch with yourself. You really are going down to like the depths of your soul with this Hermit and Hangman, and just really like all of the juicy, amazing treasures that are in the depths of your soul. Like that's who you become. You're like letting all of those amazing, special parts of you, those really real and genuine parts of you, like come out. I love that it says this: if something is in the possession of another person, it is also available to you. My spiritual coach talks about that a lot when she discusses jealousy. That there's literally no point in being jealous of anyone, because all that they're doing is showing us that what we want is possible. So if I like to go back to my example of $1 million, right? If I'm jealous of someone who has $1 million, it's so silly because they're just showing me that that's a possible thing to have, right? And that if that's my dream, it's attainable, and that's for me too. So again, it feels almost like a perspective shift that helps you shift into this like can-do attitude almost, instead of having like this 8 of Swords energy, which would say like, oh, well, so-and-so is, their parents helped them, or they just got lucky, or they just knew the right person, so they got the right job. Like those are all this 8 of Swords energy, instead of like hooking in with that creative force of the universe and recognizing that with that force, anything is possible for you. I really feel this energy as like a gate opening. It's beautiful. And this energy of try to remain calm, I feel like that's so much what I was talking about with this trust card. just being patient, right? And holding this belief, like the brilliance on this card, right? Holding on to this brilliant truth at the core that you're just in the process of things unfolding. And that process can be like kind of fun. I'm really feeling like I'm channeling a lot of Abraham Hicks concepts in this reading. So if that resonates for you, maybe there's like some special things that she has channeled that resonate for you. If not, if you don't know about Abraham Hicks, it might be neat to look her up and see if like a YouTube video pops up that resonates for you. But yeah, just knowing that basically what she says is that the second that you wish for something, the second that you ask for it, it's already done. The universe has already given it to you. And then it's basically just a process of kind of clearing the blocks to actually receiving that thing. So it always feels to me like a flower blossoming or like something unfolding, where you're like clearing the blocks and clearing the blocks and clearing the blocks and clearing the blocks. So as I'm wishing for my $1 million, I already have that in my bank account on like an energetic level. And in order to have it on a physical level, I just have to heal and clear the blocks that are basically like keeping me from receiving it, right? It's just the manifestation process. It's beautiful. So that's a really cool reading. So yes, clear communication between you and the divine and between you and like the depths of your own soul. And again, rather than having that sort of balancing energy of like two sides, really putting it together into this like circle of oneness, feels really beautiful. That's so funny. I just looked at the time and it's 41:41 and I'm amazed that this reading took so long. It's probably like my longest reading, but I feel like I was so passionate about giving you guys this message clearly. I got like a little bit lost in it. That's funny. But anyways, this message is very clear to me. I hope that I was able to express it clearly to you guys. I certainly tried my best. This is very cool. If you're in this collective, you have some special stuff coming up for you. This is a neat energy. As always, please feel free to like, share, subscribe, leave me a comment if you wish, as all of those things help me as I'm growing my channel. I'm wishing you guys the best, and I hope to see you in my next reading. Bye.